Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we're taking a look at a bargain budget gaming mouse from Marvo. This is the G943 gaming mouse with up to 10,000 dots per inch tracking. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we're taking a look at a budget bargain mouse from Marvo. This is part of their Scorpion range. Loads of different mice available. If you like the idea behind this, but maybe you don't like the style specifically, there'll be links in the video description to Marvo's website so you can check out the other models they do. They actually do a massive range of peripherals, so there's all sorts of things: keyboards, mice, headsets, webcams, etc, etc. Yeah, anyway, I'll leave some links in the video description so you can check it out for yourself. So this is the Scorpion G943. This is an ambidextrous mouse. Obviously, it's got a ton of RGB, as you can see from the box there. You've got programmable settings, you've got 6 buttons on there, you've got 10,000 DPI optical sensor, which is using the Pixart 3325 dB sensor. So yeah, pretty decent. The thing that is the real takeaway of this is the actual price of it. Now, at the moment here in the UK, you can pick one of these up for somewhere in the region between £15 to £25, depending where you shop, which I think for a Pixart 3325 sensor mouse with RGB and also software support as well, which is all important. We didn't talk about that yet. This does have full support in software for things like macros, programming, setting your DPIs, etc, etc, and also, more importantly, controlling the RGB. Yeah, I think that's an absolutely fantastic price. Now, obviously, you do see other mice on the market. Occasionally, they will drop down to silly prices, at which point, yeah, they make a great deal. But this seems to be the price pretty much all the year round, so definitely worth taking a look at. Now, packaging wise, as you can see, pretty decent packaging, and it's got a nice little blister pack on the front, so you can actually take a look inside, see some of the more sort of enhanced details about the buttons, etc, ergonomic shaping, all that kind of stuff. Nice packaging, I really like it. And also on the back it goes into more detail about the mouse itself and all the things it does. So we've got the DPI settings, which are adjustable between 1000, 500, etc, etc. Pixart 3325 sensor, as we said, 5 built-in settings for the DPI sensitivity on here, which you can change directly from the button on the mouse itself. Got the RGB lighting, etc, etc. So I think the best thing to do is take it out of the box and see what it's actually like. Okay, so what do we get actually in the box? Fortunately, not a lot, which is always a good sign. I hate having to have loads of waste, so yeah, this is perfect for me. So you get a very, very small installation guide, which basically says plug it in and install the software should you wish to. You also get a sticker, a battleground sticker, which, yeah, I'm not sure the relevance of this. You will see the relevance slightly a little bit later when we take a look at the driver, but you have to wait until we see that. So looking at the mouse itself, we've got a 1.8 meter braided cable, which terminates in a USB 2.0 connection. So this is going to be perfect for pretty much most devices and consoles these days. So Xbox, PlayStation, obviously Android boxes, PC, obviously the primary concern. Yeah, basically anything which takes a USB input and will basically work a mouse. Probably even plug it into one of your smart TVs, that kind of thing, if you wanted to. Okay, down to the individual. Obviously the software is designed for PC use only, but the actual physical hardware will work with pretty much anything that supports the mouse protocols over USB 2. So talking of the mouse itself, so we've got a nice looking mouse here. We've got a nice textured top here, which is semi-rubberized on the top, so nice and grippy. You also got on there, on the side there, the Born for Gaming logo, which seems to be across a lot of their products. This is one of their taglines. You've got the wheel itself, which has got a nice kind of tread pattern on there. Hasn't got much of a notch to it, but certainly feels really nice, and that's just quite a nice height for me personally. That is probably about where I'd want it to be, and it's not too hard to move or push, so that for me is perfect. I quite often, as you've probably tired of hearing, I quite often like to use the wheel for changing weapons in CSGO, that sort of thing, and for those really quick weapon switches, yeah, it's nice to have a nice easy to move mouse, so you don't have to kind of have too much muscle memory to try and do it. So yeah, that's all good. Nice click as well. Actually, really nice click. We have got Omron switches in here as well, which is always a nice thing to see. The left mouse button, nice and clicky, and no matter where you click on, it seems to work quite well. And the same with the right button as well. Excellent stuff. You've got the DPI button on the top there, so you can just use that to quickly switch through the 5 preset DPIs, which you can, if you want to in the software, you can change those more to your liking. On the side, we've got 2 more buttons, and actually I like these. These are really nice shaped buttons. So for me, being a left-hander, as you probably know, I tend to use my ring finger to actually use the back and forward buttons for weapon switching, that kind of thing, or for drop and reload, that sort of thing. In Windows, definitely forward and backwards. And actually where they've got it, it actually does feel quite nice. I don't have to have too much movement of my ring finger to actually actuate the buttons. They do stick out slightly proud of the mouse itself, so they're not kind of recessed ones, which I personally prefer that kind of setup. I'm not sure what you guys are like, but for me it works really well. On the side as well, we've got some really nice textured grip section there. It isn't rubberized or anything, but they have kind of molded it into the plastic, so you have got a little bit of extra grip on the side. And the same goes for the other side. There's that nice texture which follows around as well. You've probably noticed already there is an outline around the edges there, actually in 2 stages. So we've got the bottom area for the RGB lighting to come through, and also around that side section, and also it bleeds through the actual wheel as well. When you change the DPI settings, you will notice that there is actually kind of a feedback in the mouse. So you press the DPI button and you'll get a flash of color. So depending on which setting you go for, it will be slightly different from your RGB setting. On the bottom, you've got a nice big skate pad on the back there in a U shape, and also you've got 2 on the front there. Don't think they're PTFE, just kind of plastic pads, but seems to be absolutely fine. They skate around nicely. Been using this for a little while, and actually it doesn't really show much signs of use. The pads themselves a little bit scratched up, but the top actually, surprisingly, we've been eating some kind of potato pie, and there's a little bit on the greasy side because of the cheese, etc., and it doesn't appear to have made any real mark on the mouse itself, which is always a good sign. Nothing worse than having your mouse all covered in greasy marks, but it does look pretty much like brand new, like I said before. So in the middle, you've got the Pixart 3325 dB sensor in there. Again, 5 levels of resolution preset. You start off at 1000, then you go up to 1600, 2400, 3200, and 10,000 at the top end. So for me, around about the 1600, I think is probably going to be perfect for my personal use. Let me know in the comments what you have yours set to. So that's it for a quick tour of the mouse. Let's plug it in and see what it actually looks like, and then we'll take a look at the software on the PC. Okay, so there you go. There is the mouse plugged in. Literally just got it plugged in on an extension to the PC behind me. And you'll probably notice already, I'm not sure if the camera is going to do it justice. Hopefully it is. But the RGB actually on this is beautiful. It really is. It's so nicely diffused. There's no obvious kind of hot spots or LED spots. It just works really, really nicely. Now, obviously cameras work slightly different from the human eye, so possibly that is going to be something that you might see from the camera, but certainly from just looking at it, you wouldn't know there was individual LEDs behind it unless you get on a very, very specific angle where you can just about make them out. But I think the RGB implementation on this is really nice. Again, you've got 2 levels of RGB, so one around this bottom section to highlight your desk, and you've got this section here which will probably be hidden by your hand, but it's still there anyway. And also you've got obviously the Marvo Scorpion logo on the back, which is also being illuminated. You've got the DPI button, which isn't illuminated, but you've got the mouse wheel, which is kind of opaque, so it's picking up on some of those colors as well. So all-round illumination, which is very, very nice. And there's a little bit of visible from the front as well. One thing which is extremely visible is the actual optical sensor, which is extremely bright, and just blasting the camera there, even at this distance, which is about a good 3.5 foot. It's still, yeah, it's particularly bright, so I apologise to those of you that I've just blinded with that. So anyway, that is the mouse lit up, and again, it just feels really nice for me personally, very comfortable. Left-handed, right-handed, I'm not, actually, yeah, that is extremely comfortable for right-handed. I'm not a right-handed mouse user in general. I do use both sides. I am kind of ambidextrous for that. I would, if I'm playing a game, I'm really going to be using the left hand, but I do also use the right hand when I'm using other people's PCs, etc., because they're not abnormal like me. So yeah, feels really nice, and actually this particular size and shape works really, really well, and it's very comfortable. And yeah, I can't see this being a problem for long-term use because it's actually really supportive for the palm in my particular grip style anyway. So yeah, feels very nice. So let's take a look at the software, and we'll show you some of the control that you can achieve via that software. Okay, so this is the mouse, as we said. So this is on the Marvo website, marvo-tech.com. This is the G943, as you can see. And if you want to download the software, you just hit on the downloads button and you can download it. You can see I've already done it before. There's the executable file. So let's close that down now. Let's go up to the actual application itself. So there's a driver. Double click on that and it brings up. So this is where you can see there is yeah, a little bit of borrowing of other IP there. So you've got obviously Battleground on there. And there is a section on here which is called Machinist, which appears to have something to do with it. I don't quite understand this. But you've got options for first gun, second gun, third gun, fourth gun, and select a bullet. Now, I've not read through the instructions to any great detail, so I have not got a clue what is going on there. So I'm going to actually ignore that. If anybody knows what it's all about, let us know in the comment section, because it's quite intriguing, but I don't understand it. So anyway, moving on. So lighting wise, as you can see, you can go in and you can configure things. Also, you can obviously change your key settings, all that kind of stuff. In the lighting section, you've got options for normal, breath, spectrum, running horse, go with the stream, reaction and blink. So not a great deal on there. I generally tend to end up going with go with the stream, which is the kind of unicorn puke cycle. But you can, if you want to, you can change it to one of the other colors. So if we set it to red, and then the mouse will go through and do the kind of the unicorn puke thing, but in red. So that's pretty cool. You can, of course, change it to any color you want and just pick your specific color from the color wheel or color chart there. Entirely up to you. Let's go back to the stream. I'll leave that set to that. So in the key section, you can go in and choose. So you can choose DPI key, fire key, standard key, machinist, macro function, office key, all that kind of stuff. So you can go through, configure your keys however you want to. DPI wise, you can change that as well. Macros, you can assign macros. And also, if you go into advanced, you can change your DPI. So as I said, DPI 2 1600 is the one that I'm currently set to. And you can change that however you want to. Actually, 1400 might be better, so let's choose that. You've got the USB polling rate, which you can do. And from here, you can go into Windows and actually set up the mouse properties from the Windows app. So there's a quick shortcut to that as well. So that's all good. You can make your changes you want to there. You've also got the option in the settings at the top there to update the firmware, should there be a new firmware. And we're currently on the latest version for the driver, etc. So yeah, we're all good, no problem at all. And yeah, you don't have to use this software if you don't want to. It's more than capable of just running without it. So there we go, there is the software. Pretty basic stuff. Again, what do you actually really need realistically from software, apart from possibly changing your DPI levels, possibly. And if you want to, maybe set up a macro, but mostly I think it's probably going to be for changing things like the RGB. This is the kind of standard stock setting, so as you take it out of the box for the first time, it's going to be in that kind of rainbow puke sort of mode, which for most people is absolutely fine, again, depending on what you're trying to match it with. If, for instance, you're going with some of the other Marvo products, such as the S1 Big Bang keyboard we showed you not long ago, headsets, etc., realistically, all of it is designed to work with Unicorn Puke pretty much out of the box, so they can all kind of sync together. Although they're not technically synchronized, but they all look as if they're kind of doing the same thing. So no, let me know what you think about this one. I think this is actually a fantastic bargain, again, between £15 and £25 here in the UK. I'll put some links in the video description so you can pick up in your local areas, and I'll try and do like eBay and Amazon, etc., etc. Really, most of this stuff, Marvo, they do seem to be trying to get into the kind of independent, smaller retailers, into those little mum and pop shops. So you might find that in those kind of shops, please do support your local PC shops. The more we support them, the longer they're going to be around. And if you can't get out for whatever reason, then obviously, yeah, there is obviously Amazon, CCL, and all those kinds of big box players. So let me know what you think about this one in the comments section. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.